and hopefully just get some good stories, I think, from both Linda and Steve. And starting with you, Linda, I guess coming from the note that Steve just left us on, when you began running, obviously it was something that was included in your school PE, but I guess I wanted to just know a little bit more about what it was like being good at sport as a young woman. And were you encouraged to think about sport beyond PE, or was it just not really for girls?
There was no cross country at my school. There was track running, and that was about it in the summer. So other sports were just hockey, netball, that sort of thing. So really it wasn't until I left school that I even thought about doing any running. When I did actually win the 400 yards, as it was then at school, but only because the favourite fell. And that was about the limit of my running. But the sports teacher did suggest that I went on to do running training, which I never took up really, because I left school and that was the end of it really. So my running really only came about, fell running came about because I'd done a lot of fell walking. That was my background really, not running or sport as such. I went to college and I did dance as a subject, and that was sort of all the, apart from the fell walking, that was kind of the limit of the physical exploits at that time.
Yeah, probably quite a good combination for a future fell runner, sort of the doing dance, the coordination.
Yes. I did have the option of doing outdoor pursuits. We were given a taster. So when I went there at first, you could choose between outdoor pursuits or dance. I'd done dance at school, which I really enjoyed, and the outdoor pursuits consisted of the usual things of fell walking, rock climbing, sailing, and I'm not keen on sailing, I'm not keen on water sports, so I opted for the dance, which I knew I'd enjoy. And I joined the college climbing club to fulfil the walking and the climbing. So that was about, the start of it really.
But no running, and so when and what, do you remember the day that you stepped back toward that running and picked it back up from your schoolgirl days?
It was a friend of ours had joined the running club, and it was a fell running club, and it was a very well-known fell running club. They did, and in those days it was fell running, cross country. Nobody in my running club did track running or anything like that. And a good friend of ours told me that a Pendle Fell race was coming up, which he'd started fell running a little bit. So he suggested that his wife and I have a go at the ladies' Pendle Fell race, which was taking place in 1977. So we decided we'd have a go. And we'd done a lot of fell walking then, so we were quite fit, walking uphill. So we went on Pendle and we trained, and we sort of walked and jogged up and down Pendle. And then on the day of the race, I can always remember going from home over the hill and seeing Pendle there and thinking, oh my God, what have I let myself in for? And I wore totally unsuitable white leather trainers and a thick tracksuit. And I saw these women lined up, and I thought they're all younger than me anyway. And my friend Susan was sort of stood at the back shaking. So off we set, and up the hill, and that was going okay. Unfortunately, my friend Susan, she was last out of the field. So just in front of her and behind me, who I'd just passed, were two women from Burnley Athletics Club who were used to running on the track and not much else. And unfortunately, Susan turned back because she was last out of the field, and she thought, oh, I don't like this, I'm packing up. And I carried on, and I passed the two athletics girls from Burnley, climbed up the steep, it's a really steep climb up this big end of Pendle, got up the top and thought, oh great, I'm at the top, I can run down now. My legs had just turned to jelly. And And I made it to the bottom, and I can remember saying, "Oh, never again, never again." But something struck a chord, and I went on that year to do one or two little local things. There's a run up Whalley Nab, which is a little hill near us. I did that and one or two other things. So that was the start of it, really. Yeah.
That's brilliant. Quite evocative thing for any runners in the audience, just getting that sensation of when the hill is there and you come through the field and it's all looming
Yeah,
ahead of you.
it's quite an imposing
Yeah.
view when you see the big end of Pendle, and it's a big climb up. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
So.